Late night hosts don't hold back when it comes to President Trump, either through razor-sharp humor or tough policy speeches. Some sound bites coming, but this morning, the president punched back. Here is what he had to say. Late night hosts are dealing with the Democrats for their very unfunny and repetitive material, always anti-Trump. Should we get equal time? Question mark. He went on to call the coverage one-sided and said many people think Republicans, including him, should get equal TV time. Let's bring in our political policy director at Brownstein, Hyatt, Farber, and Schreck, along with Michael Tobin, the Democrat and former aide to Senator Chuck Schumer, equally qualified despite not having four names after your name. All right, so Brian, to you. The president's got a point on this one, or is he too thin-skinned?
I think the president's got a point that the media does tend to take the other side almost exclusively. Late night is a great example of that. These guys hammer him every single night, and I think there's been plenty of reason for them to take an opposing view in recent days, and they haven't taken it. So I think the president's well within his rights to go after these guys. All
right, and here's what he's going after them for. Take a listen.
Trump had a nice visit to Puerto Rico. He said it gave all the first responders a chance to meet with the last responder.
He likes to bring Melania this kind of thing in case they encounter a situation that requires showing concern for other human beings. That becomes her job.
In a new interview, House Speaker Paul Ryan said he thinks President Trump's heart is in the right place on race relations. Oh, sorry, I misread that. His heart is in the white place.
Okay, Michael, fair to say that these guys are pretty tough on him. Where does this come down in the larger sense? Because you talk to folks in the Midwest, and they say, that's great, it may be a punchline, but these late-night guys aren't talking for me. They're just part of the liberal elite. Fair criticism?
I would say the president is being thin-skinned, but it's also fair that he has the ability and the prerogative to respond to these things. I do agree with your point that it's a self-selected audience, and anyone who finds those jokes resonating is not a Trump voter or supporter to begin with. But there's a saying, at least in New York politics, that something matters only if it matters to you. And the more this matters to the president, the more they're going to joke about it.
Well, you might be right on that. Brian, to you, where does this go from here? Obviously, now the president has started this between these guys. You can't imagine that Fallon and Kimmel are going to back off from this fight. In fact, some have already responded on Twitter. At some level, when you get to Kimmel and these other groups, the big media companies are not going to rein these guys in. The only thing that reins these guys in is if all of a sudden either their ratings crash or people start boycotting their advertisers because of this. Do Republicans or perhaps the president now start organizing something like that?
I think the president's probably going to just keep saying what he's saying, and anytime they hit him with a stone, he's going to throw a boulder back at them. I think that's his style. I think people expect that from him. And I think, again, it's well within his rights. If they're going to hammer him like this, he's going to fight back.
All right. Now on to a policy fight, because there are those to talk about. This tweet from the president this morning. I called Chuck Schumer yesterday to see if the Dems want to do a